Welcome back. This is Jake Light, gaming lawyer at your service. We are back again with Great Ace Attorney, and we're gonna grill these witnesses. Well, without further ado, let's continue. Did you hear that, Rolly? The gentleman paid me a compliment. Yes, sir. Flawless, sir. Patricia is flawless. I'm totally not mind controlled. But there are only 3 books on the receipt, and Mrs. Beat mentioned 4. There's nothing surprising about that. Clearly, the 4th book is that which is shown in this photographic print. I'm sorry, Counsel, but does that not seem odd? Why should the 4th book be omitted from the receipt? It's not odd at all, my lord. As the photograph clearly shows, the 4th book was found in the victim's clutches. In other words, it belongs to the victim. The victim was holding her own book? I wonder what became of that 4th book. Obviously, it was overlooked by the investigating officers at Scotland Yard. I have it here as evidence. Give it to me. You will submit that and the aforementioned photographic print to the court, please, Counsel. My pleasure, my lord. The second crime scene photograph has been entered into the court record. Shows the victim's hand. 4th book. Right. The prosecution rests. And let me check. Check this. Check the lion book, which is burn. Oh, look at this. The book has been badly burnt. You're right. You'd never be able to read it in this state, especially not the latter pages. What a terrible waste. Judging from the scorched edges of the paper, I think the damage must have occurred very recently. A book recently damaged by fire. What does it seem to raise a red flag with me? Yeah, red. Only time where this book was mentioned was by the landlord. And the landlord said it happened at the same time. Right. I don't think there's any other significance to the book. And I don't think there's any significance to this, except for the question, why is the victim holding this book if it belongs to... Let's I can't examine the past. It's chat log, so I guess that can't be helped. I've nothing further to add. What? You seem surprised, my learned friend, but your resistance until now has been in vain. Entertaining, yes, but futile. The spurious longer route to the skills logics that you try to establish in your summation examination, and the attempted discrediting of the witness's powers of recollection in your cross-examination. Futile? I walked right into this, didn't I? You see, everything we say is true. Isn't that right, my darling? Yes, Pat. Marry me, Pat. So, perhaps the ladies and gentlemen of the jury would like to consider their positions. Should the court waste any more time on this Nipponese travesty? Or is the decision you have to make all too apparent already? You have heard all of the witnesses and seen all of the evidence. This trial has run its course. Mr. Naruhodo, I'm afraid we are in a terrible, precarious position. I know, but if I find back in the wrong way now, it could very well just make matters worse. Think, Ryunosuke, think. What do you know? Raise an objection. I'm not done yet. No, my learned friend, it's over. That last cross-examination was your final chance to establish a credible defense, and you failed. The die has been cast. There is no more room for debate. Well, might be over as far as you're concerned, but... Ugh, I can't think of what to say. If I may, my Lord Van Zix, it seems somewhat boorish to close down the debate at this point. You're insignificant little Eastern... Why am I so evil? Eastern Isle must be a lawless hole indeed. For a lowly judicial assistant to have the audacity to intervene at a moment like this. Oh! I am, to my shame, still very inexperienced lawyer. So you will have to forgive me, but I consider my assistant's advice essential and her opinions invaluable. Mr. Naruhodo. One of this land's great guiding principles is tolerance. So, the court will hear you, madame. Go ahead, Mr. Sato, please. Save me. Very well. Pray, what insight can you give us? What have we all overlooked in this matter that you see fit to pursue further? Well, the court has been presented with new evidence, but only after the last cross-examination finished. I see. And you believe that this new evidence warrants further examination, do you? Mr. Naruhodo, what do you think? It's just possible that this new evidence might be the decisive proof we've been waiting for. The judge is sure to ask the members of the jury to announce their leanings in a moment. And of course, he's sure to ask you to explain what the crucial piece of evidence is and why. So we must take this opportunity to examine the newly presented evidence as thoroughly as possible. I've already examined it. Yes, I understand, and thank you, Mr. Sato. This is it. Susato-san has managed to win us one last chance here. I can't let it go to waste. The defense wishes to present evidence, my lord. Very well. The defense may present one further piece of evidence. Evidence apparently offers a profound insight into this case and has hitherto been overlooked. Well, the evidence in question is what we can see from the newly presented photographic print of the crime scene. The fourth book found in the victim's hand. We have already discussed the fourth book at length. Other than it being in the victim's grasp at the time of the incident, no significance has been attached to it. Pursuing the matter further would be a flagrant waste of court's time, as you well know. Ugh! Yes, I'm afraid, counsel, I must concur with the prosecution at this point. When I afforded you this opportunity, you led the court to believe that the evidence in question contained a hitherto undiscovered clue. So I must insist that you elaborate, counsel. You will identify this clue at once. Do I make myself clear? Oh, yes, my lord. It's, Mr. Naruhodo. I believe the prosecution is trying to avoid a thorough examination of the evidence, which means you may very well be on the right track. Yes, I think you might be right.
So, counsel, precisely where is the vital clue to this case, which this fourth book conceals? It's very obvious burnt mark over here.
I will ask the court to observe the back of the book in question.
The back? What a good gracious! It's been burnt to a crisp.
So we have to ask ourselves, why was the victim clutching what is clearly an unreadable book? It is undeniably an extremely unnatural thing for her to have been doing.
Objection!
Unnatural, you say? And what of it, my Nipponese friend? Oh! Why to concede to the point, if it bears no relation to the case? There is nothing to discuss. So, should you wish to assert that this fire damage is some veiled clue as to what happened that day? Pray, do enlighten us all. What truth does this chart book hide? A chart book. There's just one possibility here, which I can't quite bring myself to rule out. It's an outside chance only, but worth a try. Alright, I'll explain my theory.
Don't keep us waiting any longer then, counsel. Explain this theory of yours. What are you suggesting they can ascertain from the fire damage this sorry tomb has suffered?
Its owner. My lord, the burn on the back of this book reveals a startling truth about the book's owner.
I beg your pardon?
But we already know who the book belongs to. The victim was gripping it in her hand as she fell to the floor. After all, it's obviously hers. The question of how this book came to be in the victim's hand has yet to be answered. However, as to the questions of who the book really belongs to and where it originated, the defense has a very credible answer.
Good gracious, how can you possibly?
Very well. I'll play along with this futile attempt to delay your inevitable demise. But do remember, the members of the jury may well burn you if your little gamble goes awry. Awry, sorry.
Counsel, the defense response here is very likely to influence the final outcome of this trial. So tell the court, who do you claim is owner of this burned book?
John Garridam. The answer is that the book belongs to the couple who own the house where the defendant has his lodgings. A certain Mr. and Mrs. Garridam. The landlords. And whether this is some extraordinary coincidence or some kind of fate at work, I don't know, but of all the people in London, one of the 6 chosen for the jury duty in this courtroom today is none other than Mrs. Garridam herself.
Oh my goodness, me? I think it must be mistaken, sir. I'm not Mr. Garridam's wife. I'm his maid.
Things would be so much easier if you just dropped the pretense. Alright then. How about a simple question for you? Have you ever seen this book in Mr. Garridam's house?
I would never presume to know all of the books he keeps, sir. Objection.
This is outlandish behavior. This woman is the accused landlady. You say you implicate this hard-working member of the public. You besmirch her without a shred of evidence. Your actions are unforgivable. This is not mere conjecture. The defense happens to know that on the day in question, at almost exactly the same time as the victim was stabbed on the pavement below, another incident was taking place in the room on the top floor of Mr. and Mr. Gary Depp's house.
Good Lord! What sort of incident, counsel? Can you say it in public?
A fire, my lord.
Oh, I see a fire. Never mind me. Afraid to say it was. Happened in the blink of an eye, you know. The whole place filled with smoke. Couldn't see a bally thing. Didn't take long for the fire to spread, of course. The bally furniture started going up in as well. Worst of it is, I lost my favorite book called The Lion's Bride. Why is there a full stop over there?
The Lion's Bride.
By Jove, the very same title that's the subject of this debate. Oh dear me.
This is reasonable. All you've told the court is that a book by the same name was involved in a fire. In which case, it would be reasonable to assume that it was burned to ashes. And entirely unreasonable to infer that it magically removed itself to the scene of the crime. Perhaps it would make more sense if I told you that the cause of the fire was marital discord. Without going into details, it appears that Mrs. Gary Depp was considerably enraged. Apparently, she continued to attack Mr. Gary Depp even amid the flames. Oh, how awful! I can't even imagine being so horrid to the one you love. Can you, Rolly? Absolutely not, sir. My Patricia would never raise a finger against me, sir.
All my favorite old novels in that case. But as soon as the fire got hold of them, that was it. Whoosh, up in smoke. Then the wife started hurling things at me. That was why, back up against the window, under heavy enemy fire. Incendiary books incoming 10 to the dozen. The man had this back up against the window, and he had burning books thrown at him? Goodness gracious, are you suggesting that the book was thrown through a window and landed coincidentally at the scene of the crime?
Objection!
No, a thorough investigation of the surrounding area was conducted the very evening of the incident, and there is no report of Gary Depp's window pane being broken. That's quite true. We also saw no sign of broken glass when we visited Gary Depp's household. But it is not conceivable that the window was open at the time not even remotely. Let's not forget the season and the chilling weather that accompanies it. No Londoner would ever leave a window open in the middle of the winter. Ah!
Does the defense postulate this scenario in all seriousness, counsel? Do you earnestly claim that the book found at the scene was a flaming projectile thrown by Mr. Gary Depp's wife?
I believe it's a possibility, my lord. That's quite enough. Is it or not?
Oh, that's quite enough. Well, I hope that everyone can see you for what you are now, you little foreigner trickster. Yes, I am a racist as well. Oh, why is all the British people in this game racist? You call yourself a lawyer, but you're just a coward. A mean coward.
Really?
Claiming that our little tiff set the whole neighborhood alight. Honestly. Implying that I'm merely posing as a maid for appearance's sake. How could you? It's nothing to do with this beastly case. Not any of it. All you've done is sully our family's name.
No, I assure you that was never my intention.
Dragging an upstanding citizen's name through the mud simply to divert attention from your failing defense. I should box your ears. That's what I should do. It's utterly unforgivable.
Hey, that hurt.
To right.
Here we go. How long have we sat here now, listening to this Nippon spouting out his fancy foreign theories? We're all racist. But think about it. At the end of the day, the only person who could possibly have stabbed the victim is that little hunchback with a mustache. And he ran away from the scene too. I do declare you're right. It's true.
Yes, what did I tell you?
Makes sense to me.
Sorry, what's that? Well, it would appear the ladies and gentlemen of the jury are once again in full agreement. What is your position, Lord Von Zix?
In truth, my lord, I feel this has been unnecessarily protracted proceedings. But then one must always exercise patience in order to savor the best vintage. No, wait. The mystery of the fourth book still hasn't been... If books are your predilection, my learned friend, study them on your own time. What? No, forgive the discourtesy this time.
In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will now state your individual decisions regarding the defendant's culpability for the court to hear.
Guilty!
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty! Guilty! Guilty!
Ka-bum-bum-bum-bum-bum-bum. Well, we lost the case, apparently.
Thank you for that unambiguous response.
That's twice now. It's over. Mr. Naruto, don't give up. Miss Susato, have you forgotten? The battle isn't over yet. You're not suggesting... Of course, the defense has the right to another submission examination at this point. You can still convince the jurors to change their minds. You have one more chance.
My lord,
the defense asks to exercise the right to submission examination. You believe you still have tricks up your sleeve? I don't intend to trick anybody. I intend to uncover the truth. It's no time to be downcast. As long as there's a chance, I have to stay strong and determined. Right. This farce of a trial, we'll continue it, no matter what. Loopholes, go into all of them. Break all rules and procedures. I've had it.
I have considered the defense counsel's request for a further summation examination of the jury, and I have determined that the court must uphold the defense judicial right to this procedure. So, counsel, you will now present your second summation examination. I presume the jury is ready, Mr. Foreman?
We are, my lord.
Very good. In that case, I must ask each of you now to state clearly and concisely for the court the grounds on which you find the defendant guilty of this crime.
Because they all believe in bullshit. The accused left behind evidence at the scene, didn't he? Those 3 books of his. If there was some novel alternative explanation about how the victim was stabbed, I might reconsider. Well, I actually have a theory now. I have a theory now. Mrs. Gary Depp killed the victim. But yeah, it's very far-fetched, but we'll see. Even if the woman was throwing books, it can't be related to this crime if the window was closed, can it? Dearie me, it was only a little book, hardly life-threatening even with a direct hit. Look, I just want to get this over with. If I don't bring home some pay tonight, I'll be in a tidy bit of trouble.
Come to think of it, we had a fire at home a while ago. It gave me the sneezes.
Damn them. These jurors are just playing with people's lives.
Yes, considerably more tangible arguments from all members of the jury this time round, it seems.
Not really.
With one notable exception, of course.
My learned friend was unable to find fault in the previous witness testimony. So the court must accept the fact that it was indeed the accused seen fleeing from the scene. And moreover, no one else was even in the scene to commit the crime.
Well, if the eyewitnesses are correct, it would seem as if the conclusion is somewhat set in stone. I fail to see how they can be argued any other way.
That means I'm afraid that during this submission examination, it's essentially that you establish some other tangible explanation for the facts. But how? What would even constitute a tangible explanation here? Isn't it obvious? Who stabbed the woman and how? Those 2 details are all you need provide. Simply give us a name and the method by which the attack was conducted. And there I was thinking this might be hard. Mr. Naruto, you have to do it. Otherwise this really will be where the trial ends. Ugh, no pressure then.
That's quite enough preamble. Proceed with the summation examination, please. I presume you are prepared, counsel.
Oh yes, my lord. Alright, Ryunosuke, focus your mind now. Ooh, double slaps. Clearly, the key to this submission examination is going to be the jury number 4, the maid, or should I say, Mrs. Gary Depp. We have a book that disappeared from Gary Depp's house on the evening of the incident, and the 4th book found in the victim's hand. There must be a way to link the 2. Yes, that's what we have to find, using every technique I've learned in my short career so far, whatever it takes. Don't forget to keep an eye on Mrs. Gary Depp, how she reacts, even to the things other people say. I see. Jury examination. The defense's rebuttal. Alright, I think this is the right one. Right one, maybe. But what about the possibility that the window was open? What about it? What about it? I mean, there's just no way it could have been. How can you be so sure? The prosecutor fellow over there said it earlier, didn't he? Witnesses in London are no joke. You don't want to invite that sort of cold indoors. So no, that window wasn't open. Us Londoners like sitting by the fire and staying warm, see? But you couldn't categorically state that the window wasn't open, could you? It just wasn't. They won't have opened it. What's the point in having windows, huh?
Council, I will kindly refrain from childish bickering.
Oh, sorry. Somehow I need to show you this. An undeniable possibility that window was open. Well, it's open because I'll tell you on the next episode because we have run out of time. Sorry about that. Hey. But yeah, in any case, hope you have enjoyed this playthrough. I am finally, well, I am hoping it's ending soon because this is going on far too enough. As I agree with Van Ziggs, but for different reasons. But thank you again. Hope you enjoyed this playthrough. I'll see you in the next one. So, take care, stay hopeful, but be critical. Bye-bye.